Tomorrow morning, while most students walk into class half awake, laughing with friends and carrying yesterday's habits into a new day, there will be one student sitting quietly at his desk, focused, prepared, and different. But it wasn't always like this. Not long ago, that same boy was known for something else entirely. He wasn't the top student, not even close. In fact, he was the one teachers worried about. His grades were slipping, his confidence was almost gone, and slowly he started believing something dangerous, that maybe he just wasn't meant to succeed. Every report card told the same story. Average, below average, sometimes worse. Classmates moved ahead, conversations changed, and he found himself becoming invisible. Not because he wanted to be, but because it felt easier than trying and failing again. There's a moment many people don't see. The moment when someone quietly gives up on themselves. No drama, no announcement. Just a slow acceptance of, this is who I am. And for him, that moment came when even he stopped expecting anything better. But here's where the story shifts. One evening, sitting alone with his books open but untouched, something inside him refused to stay quiet. It wasn't motivation. It wasn't sudden inspiration. It was something much smaller, but far more powerful. A decision, not to become the best overnight. Not to prove anyone wrong. Just a simple decision. Tomorrow, I will do one thing differently. The next day, he woke up earlier than usual. Not by hours, just enough to create a small gap between him and his old habits. He sat down, opened his book, and focused for 20 minutes. No distractions, no phone, no excuses. That was it. No dramatic transformation, no immediate results, just 20 minutes. But here's what most people underestimate. Discipline doesn't need to start big. It just needs to start. The next day, he did it again. And the day after that. Some days were harder. Some days, he didn't feel like it at all. But instead of chasing motivation, he stuck to something simpler. Consistency. Weeks passed. Something began to change. Not outside, not yet, but inside. He started understanding things he used to skip. Small concepts clicked. Questions he couldn't answer before now made sense. His confidence didn't explode. It grew quietly, just like his habit. And slowly, others began to notice. A teacher paused one day and asked, "Have you been studying more?" It wasn't a compliment, but it was recognition. And for someone who had been invisible, that question meant everything. He didn't suddenly become the smartest in class. He didn't jump to the top overnight. But he was no longer at the bottom. And more importantly, he was no longer the same person. Discipline had started doing what motivation never could. It was building a foundation. Months later, the change became undeniable. His grades improved. His focus sharpened. But the real transformation wasn't on paper. It was in his mindset. He no longer feared failure the way he used to, because now he understood something most people miss. Failure isn't permanent, but quitting is. The quiet boy who once avoided attention had now become someone others looked at differently. Not because he was loud or trying to impress anyone, but because consistency has a way of making noise without saying a word. There's a powerful truth hidden in stories like this. The world often celebrates talent, intelligence, and natural ability. But what it doesn't show enough is this: discipline can outwork them all. He didn't have a special advantage, no secret shortcut, no sudden breakthrough. Just one habit, repeated every single day, even when it felt boring, even when it felt pointless. That's the part most people struggle with. Discipline isn't exciting. It doesn't give instant rewards. It asks you to show up on days when nothing seems to be changing. But something is always changing. Every focused hour, every small effort, every moment you choose growth over comfort, It all adds up. Quietly, slowly, powerfully. By the time his final exams arrived, he wasn't the same boy who once doubted himself. He walked into the room not with arrogance, but with calm confidence. Because he knew something others didn't. He had earned his preparation. Results day came. For most, it was just another report card. For him, it was proof. Proof that change is possible. Proof that effort matters. Proof that discipline works. He didn't top the class. But he achieved something far more important. He transformed his future. And the most inspiring part? Nobody saw it happen in real time. There was no applause for waking up early, no recognition for those quiet study sessions, no audience for his struggle. But that's how real change works. It happens in silence before it shows up in success. Somewhere right now, there's someone sitting in the same place he once was, feeling behind, feeling overlooked, thinking maybe it's too late. It's not. Because the truth is, you don't need to change everything today. You don't need to become perfect overnight. You just need to start. One habit, one decision, one moment of discipline. That's all it takes to begin. And maybe tomorrow morning, while the world continues as usual, someone else will sit quietly at their desk and choose to be different. Not louder, not smarter overnight, just more disciplined. And that's where everything begins.